At the beginning of the launch, I felt also like discouraged, like, oh, maybe it's not going well. I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. It's like started worrying and felt like maybe I should just not do it at all, like, and not continue. And so I really loved that moment when you said, like, that's perfectly normal. There's cycles, just like we have energy cycles, there's cycles in a launch. And that normalizing that there are cycles, that really helped me and helped me manage my emotions and like just focus on the process, which was another key lesson, is that the key to success is mastering the process.
Yes. Welcome to Exposed, the show that gives you the raw truth about what it really takes to build a multi-million-dollar coaching business and a life that you're obsessed with. I'm your host, Juliana Garcia, marketing strategist and master coach. And after building a multi-million-dollar business from scratch, each week, I want to take you behind the scenes with actionable business strategies and profound mindset shifts to help you create wealth from the inside and out, so that you can become the exception to the rule in the coaching industry. I'm exposing the uncomfortable truths, the failures, and the topics that most podcasts don't dare to talk about. So let's dive into today's episode. You guys, I'm jumping off of my chair here. I am so excited for today's episode. I have one of my favorite people ever, my client, Kristel, who is going to be sharing with you some wild, is going to blow your mind. So Kristel sold out her one-on-one after being away from her business for about a year. And she also had a really successful group launch, all in record time, while prioritizing herself as a mom of a newborn. And she's going to tell us how she did it, because truly we almost couldn't even get all the miracles in one sentence. It was so fun. And just for those of you who don't know who Kristel is, she helps female entrepreneurs and executives achieve professional success in record time while also prioritizing more time for themselves so they feel fulfilled and energized as they achieve their full potential. All right, Kristel, welcome to Exposed. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I felt I'm meant to be here.
Yes. Tell everyone what you were just saying before about being here.
And why I feel I'm meant to be here. So it was like a year ago or two, I saw one of your client success spotlights with a woman who said that she decided that she was going to be one of your success stories. And then I decided in that moment that I will be one of your success stories. But it was just like subconsciously. But yeah, and I am so glad that I stepped in my power, invested in myself in this powerful way, and that now we're here.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Okay, so I want to take everyone to the beginning before we started working together. And you guys, I want you to really pay attention to all the wisdom Kristel has to offer, because she really, if you're a mom, if you just have a lot on your plate, you hire a high achieving woman, Kristel is truly one of the best coaches that I know and has so much wisdom around just how to balance things, how to work with your body, your cycle. And there's just so much wisdom that she has. And we're going to talk about not only her story in Magnetize and all the miracles she created, but also how she applied her own wisdom and her own tools to create these amazing results. And so really pay attention if you really want to get a feeling for what it's like to achieve everything you want without putting yourself on the line, like without having to sacrifice your own, without prioritizing yourself. Okay, so let's start by giving people some context about where you were before you joined Mastermind. And I'm also curious to know, why would you hire a coach who's not a mom?
So where I went on maternity leave end of August. And then I joined, I think, April. So I gave birth. So I was a new mom, I think with a 6-month-old baby. I was away from my business. And after becoming a mother, my energy and time became 10 times more valuable. So I was so ready to be even more strategic with my business and also achieve my goals 10 times faster, because I felt like I have no energy or time or deadlines to push forward. Now is the time. And that's how kind of motherhood affected me. I felt more in my power and more ready to fulfill my potential. That's where I was. And I remember I found you 2 years ago, and I've been following you for 2 years, but I know, like, okay, when I'm ready to really build my flagship group program, and ready to scale, that's when I want to join your mastermind. And then motherhood gave me this perfect kind of time frame of like, now, like I can't push this forward. Like now is the time to actually, properly scale and be strategic.
Okay, great. And before you answer the question about why hiring someone who's not a mom, I have a question
Mhm.
because your thoughts about making an investment are so different from so many people. So many people would put motherhood as a reason not to invest. So it's actually really refreshing or really interesting to explore that mentality. So what you're saying is that if you being a mom of a newborn, you thought that having a 7-month-old was a perfect time to launch your group program. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I didn't even get that far because when I joined, I thought I will launch it
Oh,
later on. But joining the mastermind and actually accelerating my results and process, yes, it was the perfect time.
that is so beautiful and so fascinating for everyone listening. Whether you're a mom thinking about getting support and you're thinking, oh, it's not a good time because I have a newborn. I mean, it totally makes sense, like a circumstance that you would make a reason not to. And for those of you who are coaches who think, oh, my client just had a baby, this is not the right time, just really notice Kristel's thoughts about the right time and find what that would be for you or for your client. Because when would it be a better time than now? I mean, I always say the time is always now if you have the desire. Like, we could also push it. You could be like, I think I'm going to wait until my baby's like 2 years old. That could also be an arbitrary decision. And so, can you just tell people just a little bit more about why that was the right time for you?
Well, first off, that's what I've heard, that the older they get, the actually might busier your life can get, like with a 1 or 2 year old. Because so then I was like, okay, the time is now. I don't know how my daughter will act or be like. And so I was like, I have to figure this out now. But it was also like, what kind of a life do I want? Like, I want to be with my daughter most of the time. And like, whenever, like when she is older, like 2, like you said, then we can go to places and, play. I don't want to spend most of my time working, but I have to, create that system and that business now, be able to
Mm,
create that life. So that was one of the core reasons why now was the right time.
that makes so much sense. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And why
Yeah.
did you hire a coach who's not a mom?
I honestly even didn't think that, because as a business coach or marketing coach, the motherhood aspect wasn't something I looked for. But I think what mainly, because one thing is the mastermind, but I think especially as a service provider, the key is who is running that mastermind, who is that coach.
Mm,
And what I really loved about you is how you have built your business and your lifestyle and how you then teach it. It's having a spacious business and life with clarity and simplicity. That's everything what I want and the lifestyle I want to create. So I really enjoyed that. Plus, but it's also that you would help me find my way of doing things.
mm,
I don't believe
yes.
there's like one way, that what works for you probably won't work for me in that
Yeah.
sense. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't feel it doesn't matter if you're a mother or not. Key is just like the core concepts, and like you felt so, and you are so inspirational to me. So that's why it was a yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's just something for everyone to realize, that you don't have to be like your clients in many ways. You can just be you. And what people are ultimately buying is what they want, their dream that they desire. And as Kristel just said, she wants a spacious life so that she can do whatever she wants with her time. Kids, etc., family. I don't have kids right now, but I'm for sure have space for them. And I'm creating a life that has space
Yeah.
for a husband, kids, and travel. And so, but right now, what I do is I travel and enjoy my beautiful house and just chill, right? Like, is the point is what you're selling as a coach is not necessarily, doesn't have to be the same lifestyle that your client needs to want. It's just the concepts, the philosophy behind it, which I think that's what you're communicating. Okay, so let's just dive into what happened inside of the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind, and how were you able to sell out your one-on-one in record time after being away from your business for a year? How are you able to have such a successful launch? I'm prioritizing yourself. Let's actually get into the nitty gritty so that people can really see what's possible and what you did. So, what was your experience like joining when you first joined? Because you actually got a bonus to you joined the Momentum Mastermind where I help my clients get to 1 million. And you showed up. By the way, the call times were really late. Can we just talk about that for a moment?
Like 1 a.m. I was already like lack of sleep with in my pajamas. I was in my bathroom because I was the quietest place. In my pajamas, just like at 1 a.m. I'm there.
Literally, she was. And you were wearing your blue blocking glasses every time, and you were sitting on the toilet, and you
Yes.
literally were taking the calls. Like, what made you want to really do that kind of like be committed to that degree?
I think it's part of why I joined is like now is the time to create business that will help me create the life that I want, especially as a mother as well. I've been pushing scaling and strategic business building kind of like for too long because I've been always sold out with like one-on-one client. But then I was like becoming a mother, I really realized, okay, no, I can't push this further down. Like something has to change.
Yeah.
So I was just so committed to get to the next level.
Yes. Okay. So, what's the first teaching point that we're going to give everybody here in terms of your exposed truth and experience when you joined? What happened?
I think that the day after I paid, and that's kind of like the magic of investing in yourself fully, something energetically shifted and kind of hidden beliefs started showing up that even didn't know that they existed. Basically, I felt imposter syndrome, that I don't have anything valuable to give and I don't belong. And even if I showed up in the first calls, I felt like I don't belong in a room full of high 6 and 7 figure earners. And I haven't felt that before, or I didn't even know I had these thoughts. So that was very kind of shocking. And because I was able to obviously feel them, but also view them from a third person perspective, like, oh my God, like this is terrifying, but also very interesting as a coach, at the same time.
Totally. So you felt like you didn't belong.
Yeah.
You felt imposter syndrome. And was there anything inside of the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind that helped you with that?
Well, I remember you helped me before with the first coaching call. I think even before I watched the videos or it just clicked a different way. It's because I've had these I don't belong patterns before, but in different outside of business scenarios. So you kind of really helped me see like, okay, I'm just in my victimhood, that
Mm,
I decide that I belong with myself and I
yeah.
decide in which rooms I belong to.
Yes. Oh, so powerful. I love that. And you're saying that from this place of like fully embodying it, that like makes me you're just radiated. So good. Yeah. For everyone listening, like we belong wherever we decide. You just walk into any room and you decide, I belong here. Like, notice that thought creates this feeling of like ease whenever you go anywhere. But if you're like, I don't belong here, oh my God, it just makes the feeling of not belonging worse. But everyone feels like they don't belong. Everyone feels like they don't belong wherever they go. They just don't talk about it, right? And so it's so important that we recognize, like, oh, this is a normal thought, but also I do belong. I'm going to be the first one to belong here and just let everyone feel at ease. Like, we're all good here, you know?
And I believe it's incredibly crucial if you want to get to that next monetary level. Like if you want to become a 7-figure earner, you have to feel and decide that you belong among those people. And I believe that's one of the keys, or one of the key like blockages that will block you from that level if you don't feel that you belong there.
Yeah, 100%. Beautiful. Okay, so not belonging. And then let's talk about once you got coached, and let's talk about like the actual success things, right? That people want to know. How did you feel at your one-on-one? How did the launch go? How did that all go? Because people are afraid of launching. So were you afraid of launch? I mean, you came in with the idea of that you wanted to launch your group program, but let's tell people what happened behind the scenes of like your decision making around it and how it actually felt really scary and that you wanted to do it later and kind of push the dates. And let's walk people through that journey.
Yeah. So actually, the beginning of this year, I already wrote down my goal that I will come to the Magnetize Mastermind and just kind of prepare the launch and clarify my message. But then I will actually launch at the beginning of next year, 2025. But then when it got to it, you asked me, Kristel, why? Why would you wait? You have the support now. And then that's when I felt kind of scared a bit. Just the uncertainty with a newborn. I didn't have any childcare. My partner works full time. So it was just me and my partner and taking care of the baby. And then figuring, okay, how can I do this with like 3 hours in a day? Like, okay. So that felt really scary.
Okay.
But then you kind of helped me see my power because my embodied performance method is exactly for that. How to achieve professional success in record time while prioritizing more time for yourself.
Exactly.
And then I was like, well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I help women with. So why not just, lean into even more my method and do it? Because I felt confidence in me embodying the things I teach and help women with. And I felt that confidence in me, like, yes, I have the tools and skills and I have the support with you. So it makes sense to do it now. So I cut the time frame into half, literally 6 months.
That's so good. What were the things that we cut out? Because I remember you were thinking that the launch was going to be more complicated than what it needed to be, right? Or that the delivery, you're like, I need modules. I need to have everything prepared. I need to have everything organized. And like, for those of you who are listening, who are like my perfectionist overthinkers, I'm a recovering one. Like, I want to have everything ready. So in a practical way, how did you approach the launch? What was the coaching that we talked about?
Yeah, at first I did want to have my entire masterminds, all the weeks planned ahead, and also the launch, everything scripted, written out, so then I can have like this kind of ease and flexibility. I think that's kind of like the beautiful thing that happens when you don't focus on time, but focus on energy. So when I cut the time frame into half, and then I think instantly your brain starts thinking more creatively. It's not, okay, how can I do this without burning myself out? Because that wasn't an option. Or working while my baby is right next to me, that wasn't an option. And so that helped me really lean into my energy management and figure out that no, like, because I know the information. I think that's what you reminded me. Like, I have more value to give right now than I even think that I have. That I thought, I have to study up and like care more. And then we're like, no, Kristel, like, you know way more than you think you know. Then I was like, yeah, I think I do.
Yes. I think that's just what I do as a coach. I just put a mirror up and I'm like, I think you're not seeing how amazing you are. Let's get the fog off of the mirror and really see how your own tools actually apply. And this happens with every one of my clients. Instead of telling them what's my way, I just tell them, well, how would you solve this if you were a client, right? Like, how can we use your tools to get you there? Because at the end of the day, that will help you become the product of your product. And that is what people will buy, the embodiment of your own tools. But if you're just marketing, trying to sell something, but you're not living it, it's just not embodied, right? And part of the coaching that I feel people maybe don't understand they getting magnetized is like a deeper embodiment of their own tools, whatever those are. Doesn't matter if you're an energy coach or a whatever coach, like health coach, same tools apply for mindset. So it's so beautiful that you mentioned that, because it is something that like I don't talk about a lot, but it's like a byproduct of being coached inside of Magnetize that is so profound. There was one more thing that happened that was really,
I think I know, it was one of the breakthroughs. That's one of the things, the key lessons I learned is how to think like a 7-figure earner. And so at the beginning of the launch, I felt also like discouraged, like, oh, maybe it's not going well. I don't know, I'm
oh,
doing something
yes.
wrong. It's like, I started like, yeah, like I really started worrying and felt like maybe I should just not do it at all, like, and not
Yes.
continue. And so I really loved that moment when you said, like, that's perfectly normal. There's cycles, just like we have energy cycles, there's
Yeah.
cycles in a launch. And that normalizing that there are cycles that really helped me and helped me manage my emotions and like just focus on the process, which was another key lesson, is that the key to success is mastering the process.
Yes.
That really helped me get out of my perfectionism and really into, okay, just focus on the process step by step. And then you helped me like normalize the launching cycles. Yeah. And I had a very strong launch, and I'm very proud of myself that I showed up every single day.
Yes. Okay, so that's exactly where my mind was going and what I wanted to ask you, because I remember one of the things that we worked on practically was actually your pit, which is something that people don't even consider, right? Like, how are you going to show up for this conversion event? How are you going to talk about your offer? What are you going to say? And we literally spent like a whole call. We were all in the mastermind, like sharing, okay, and I was revising, like, okay, what is the energy you're bringing? And then what are the words you're saying? And how are you communicating it, like in the most practical way? And you really nailed that. Like, for me, it makes perfect sense that you had a super successful launch because you actually really took the time to nail that part. And also, you took the time to, but you were nervous about why is no one buying throughout the 5 days or something. I think you did like a multi-day event. You're like, nobody has bought. It's a flop. I'm like,
Yes.
that is so cute. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Let me just tell you how it goes. And like, I love that you had that moment because you had like 470. How I always forget the number. 400, like almost 500 registrants for your free event, which
Yes.
is like amazing. And then you were coming with like powerful delivery. You had practiced your whole thing, your pitch, the whole thing. And then I remember talking to you on Thursday or the following week on Tuesday. And you were like, oh, yeah, I don't have much to celebrate.
500, only two. I was like, well, this is a flop. That's how I felt.
Yes. And I think this is such a beautiful exposed moment for everyone to listen to, that when you launch, I don't know why people feel entitled to have all the people coming to them on the first day of the open card or just when you just first talk about your offer. It's just, when I was doing launches, for many launches, I didn't get one sale until my first week of open card. Like, if we do a multi-day event, I wouldn't expect no sales until like the next week. It'd be like, okay, they're going to start to come. But I think my clients have this idea, or people have this idea, that you do a webinar and you see sales coming in, like as you're still selling. And what we don't get told is like, wait, this is a moment of like patience. It's a moment of holding belief. It's a moment of normalizing what we feel like is not normal. And you were so good at holding the belief throughout. You're like, oh, thank you. Got it. It's normal. Perfect. Let me get coached on this. And you just held the belief until the end. You got 10 amazing women that are just like, this is what you wanted. You know what I mean? Like, this is so amazing. So just such an important lesson to remember, that being around people who have been through what you have been through or what you are going through and just can normalize it, it just shortcuts the emotional toll.
Yes. And because it's also, before you get the results, like your thoughts and feelings like directly affect your results. So it's not just the emotional toll, but they affect your results. And I had a 30K launch if my emotions weren't like balanced in that sense.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm just curious to hear, what else would you share with somebody who maybe is considering being in the mastermind? Like, what is it like to get coached by me? Because there's so many masterminds at this point. There's so many offers, and I love that for the world. Yay for coaching. And also, people are making decisions about where to go. And so, like, for somebody who's considering it, or maybe is brand new spanking to my world, like, what would you say about your experience or what they can expect?
So one of the things that at first I really wanted to know before I joined was, is this just a messaging mastermind?
Mm-hmm.
What else is there, or is that it? And one of your free challenges, you mentioned that there's way more. And I think that was my final thing I needed to say yes. So if you are hesitant, I do really want to emphasize that it is a holistic, it's literally like a business mastermind. And there's all the key parts that you need to build a successful business, from mindset to what's your target audience, messaging, branding, launching, how to grow, how to write content, how to sell, how to deliver as a coach. So it was a very beautiful, like holistic experience, which I really enjoyed and kind of what I was looking for.
I love that. And can you tell people a little bit about the mindset part? I feel like that's like my favorite thing to do. So like, what kind of mindset coaching do you receive? Because I feel like there's just kind of like surface level mindset, and then there's like really profound moments. who we are in leading a business is really truly what matters the most. Like the strategies are going to change, but how we get helped in embodying our CEO, the person that just does not let disbelief get in the way, the person that knows how to manage their emotions. I feel like when we get helped in that area, like what can stop us? There's nothing that can really stop us, right? So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts around like, was there anything in the coaching that helped you with that?
There was so much. And I personally love the mindset aspect as well. And I think that's the main thing because it all matters like how you implement strategies. And it kind of comes down to your mindset, right? I remember one of those, maybe it's another exposed moment. One of the reasons why I really like needed to join this mastermind was I really wanted to get clear on my messaging, like the specific words and how I say things. I had such high mental loads around thinking about it for like 3 years and I was just going insane. But I also have this, let's call it weakness, is I felt like, oh, if I don't get results, then I have to change it and change it again and like adapt. And so that's kind of one of my weaknesses is like trying to change or too quickly. And you are like, no, like, first of all, this is amazing. You're on the right track and you should do this for a year. Like commit for a year before changing anything or trying something new. And so that was like, okay, it really helped me like center myself. And again, like reduce that cognitive load of like, no, this works. And I'm just going to commit. It's just about, showing up and knowing like, this is what I'm good at and this is what I want to do. And it works.
So good. Okay. And so let's tell everyone, how are you feeling now? Where are you at post mastermind? We completed the round a while ago. Mm-hmm. And so how are you feeling? Like tell people what your life is like now.
I truly feel that I have reached that next level and I haven't come down from it. So it's really like stabilized in a way that I am super confident in like my pricing and how I show up and the value I have to give. Before I was still like, I don't know, like it felt at times scary, but now I feel very much in my power and I feel clear. And also I take more responsibility for my thoughts and feelings. You really help me see like, okay, you're just in a victimhood or like just work on yourself, do journaling or there's not like deep coaching here. You just have to shift. Sometimes it's, yes, deep coaching is needed or long coaching, but other times it's just like, snap out of it, like process your thoughts and feelings and, you will see much clearer. So taking more responsibility for my thoughts and feelings, that's definitely what I've done.
Amazing. And you still have spaciousness to be with your baby. And how is it going with the group?
Yeah. So with the group as well, I think the biggest part that seeing how you lead group coaching calls was very inspiring. And every time now that I coach, I channel you so calm and relaxed, yet so precise. And like, I love that just this spaciousness feeling. And yeah, just that's what I'm channeling basically as well.
I love that. So good. Yeah. Oh my God, Kristel. Anything else you want to share with the world about our journey together or anything that feels like we haven't talked about that you want to share?
I just want to say that it truly is. And I'm so grateful that I kind of went for it, that I launched like 6 months before and really reminding like, yeah, I was away from my business for a year. And you can have it all in that sense. Have a successful business, be a new mom, have time for yourself. It's just, I'm living it. And I feel so fulfilled and energized. But I know I couldn't have done it without this Magnetize and Monetize Masterminds. And I knew before I joined that this will 10x my results. I just knew it. So I'm like, of course, this is where I am. Like, of course.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Such a Juliana vibe. Of course, this is where I'm at. Yes. Okay, well, where can everyone find you if they want to work with you?
Yes. If you're like on the fence, like, I don't know if I have time for this. I don't know if I'm ready for the next level. You can come work with me. I'll give you the tools. So you can then go to Juliana's mastermind and achieve professional success in record time, but also prioritize more time for yourself. I am at Kristel Tuul is my Instagram and LinkedIn handles, and kris.com is my website. So my first and last name, basically, you'll find me.
Yeah, we'll put it on the show notes. And it's just such a pleasure. I am such a fan. You actually came from working with my friend Rian, and he's just so incredible at what he does in the flow collective situation and just helping people really understand how to help others with achieving more in less time and enter like a flow state. And I just vouch so much for him. I vouch so much for you. So if anyone is ever curious about that, I just think Kristel's just such an amazing coach, truly. Seeing your business, seeing yourself behind the scenes, like seeing you behind the scenes, I just think the world of you. So I just want you to know that. And everyone who gets to work with you is so lucky. So definitely check Kristel out. She's amazing. And of course, apply for the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind also, because we are currently in pre-enrollment season for 2025. And what that means is that you get to do what Kristel did. You get to join the Momentum Mastermind early. You get coaching in there, and you get to really lay the foundation to have an amazing 3 months together when we start in the beginning of 2025. So go ahead and apply. You get that bonus. You get $1,000 off. And when you pay in full, you also get a call with me. I mean, this is just the best time to join right now. Is really, you joined early, right?
The bonus was the best time. I so enjoyed it, and I got my value back like before we even had the coaching calls. So yes, if you want to join early.
Yeah, 100%. Beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Look, I'm going to be honest. I never like leaving reviews or sharing episodes unless it's something that really moved me. So if this show resonated with you today, please leave a review. It would mean the world to me. And send it to somebody who really wants to know the raw, exposed truth about what it really takes to create $1 million business and a delicious life. And as a thank you, I'm gifting you a free mini course about the 3 mistakes that coaches make that repel premium clients and how to fix it so that you can start attracting clients now. Check out the show notes to access it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.